Hello and welcome to Export Digest, your #1 program that periscopes Nigeria's non-oil export sector. Thank you for joining us. Export Digest brings you information that helps you see economic possibilities in non-oil export, a sector we strongly believe is Nigeria's alternative source of foreign exchange earnings. On Export Digest, we highlight several opportunities and explore strategies to exploit these opportunities as we seek to identify and provide solutions to challenges in the sector. Our goal is to enable practitioners and policy makers improve on their respective roles as it relates to export business. My name is Mayokun Akwaterabo.
My name is Ken Okauha, the President of the National Association of Nigerian Traders, NATS.
I am Obinaya C. Uruakwa, Personal Development Trainer, Public Affairs Analyst and an entrepreneur.
Keep watching
Export Digest.
Export Digest.
Don't change it out.
Export Digest is presented in 3 segments: the focus of the day, spotlight, and trade info segments. We're devoting today to treating the very many questions we have received from you, our esteemed audience, over the past 12 weeks. Week in, week out, via emails and through virtually all our communication channels, inquiries pour in. We are happy to offer you knowledge free of charge. We also deem it beneficial to provide answers to these questions, not just privately to each one who have asked, but to bring it on air so that many others can avail themselves of the answers, the solutions, and the recommendations we have given. So today we will shed light on the gray areas of this economically important theme for Q3, services export. We are glad that we have achieved our objective of dedicating this quarter to services export on Export Digest. So here we go with Femi Boyede, a certified international trade professional.
Hello viewers, and welcome once again. This session is actually supposed to be rounding up an entire quarter that we have devoted on services export. But of course, it is your program. You are the viewers, and we do not want Export Digest to be a one-way communication. So we're devoting this entire episode on addressing some of the issues and questions that you have been sending to us. Of course, a lot of you who have written in or telephoned will attest to the fact that we have taken pains to answer your questions by the same medium, either by email or via telephone. Some of you actually WhatsApped us. But I do believe that some of those questions actually will add value to the understanding of other viewers who are either too engaged or too lazy to write questions on their own. That's the essence of bringing just a sampling few of the questions that you have been asking. Let me also say that of about 500 emails, maybe up to 60% of them are in the same direction. So if we don't pick yours, I'm very sure that in the questions that we'll be answering, you will find that it tallies with what you particularly would like to know. From Kunle Alamu, kunlesalt@gmail.com. He says, I must commend your efforts in reviving our economy. Kindly advise me on quantity, packaging, and products exportable in Nigeria. Regards. Now, this is a very big question. It's broad. It captures almost Export Digest of the past 2 years. So my first answer is take time to go onto our YouTube channel and you will find specific answers, because episodes several over the past 2 years that we have managed to run this program have actually taken each of these. Now, when you're talking about quantities to export, what are you exporting? Because the man who is doing adire in Abeokuta, or the guy who is weaving akwete in River State, is not going to be talking about the same quantity as the guy who is farming ginger in Kuchigoro, or the person who is planting oil palm trees somewhere in Delta or Bayelsa. So what is common here is quantity, but the quantity has to relate to the particular item that you are trying to export. So I probably will need you to articulate that question by telling us what it is that you need to export. Some products are exported in metric tons. Some are measured only by kilograms. For example, you want to export lead, galena ore, or zinc. Of course, you'll be talking of massive quantities. You want to export cocoa, you are talking of a minimum of a 20-foot container that will take only 12.5 metric tons. Like I said, quantity is actually relative to what you are desiring to export. I want to talk about packaging. Well, same answer. The way you package zinc or gold is definitely different from the way that you package cocoa or ginger or chili pepper. So it's also particular to the product that you are trying to export. I'm sure that you are seeing the various types of packaging and for the various products, even as I'm talking to you. So I don't know if that answers your question, but honestly, there is no one answer. It has to be relative to the product. Now, products exportable from Nigeria. I know that as far back as about 6, 7, or maybe even 8 years ago, Nigeria Export Promotion Council came out with something they call the Exportable Products Map. And they cited this per state and per local government of where you could find them. I tell you that that compendium contains more than 5,000 different exportable commodities from Nigeria. And if you have been following this quarter on Export Digest, when we talk about services which are intangible, which are invisible, which actually relate to the talent and skill of every individual, then you'll be talking about exportable products and services beyond 1 million, depending on that which you are able to come out with. So Nigeria, like we have always said, is blessed with resources that can be sold in the international marketplace. You only need to zero in around your environment or within yourself, and you will find out that which you are able to export. The next one is from Toby Martin, 60in90toby@gmail.com. He says, or she says, I watch Export Digest here in Mubi, Adamawa State, and I'm interested in soya beans export. Thanks. Now, let me also use this opportunity to probably educate our viewers on how to make enquiries. I'm interested in soya beans export. What are you interested in soya beans export? Is it the quantity that Nigeria sells abroad? Is it the places where you can find soya beans to export? Or is it the market where soya beans is sold? Is it the uses to which soya beans are put to? Or is it the financials or financing of soya beans export? I'm afraid, Toby Martin, we really do not understand what aspect your question is, and therefore it's difficult to provide an answer. Enquiries, trade enquiries, just like trade offers, have to be specific. They have to be detailed enough for the interested importer to understand that which you are putting on offer. I'm taking this next one from Oluwatosin Habib, tswitch5@gmail.com. Says, my name is Oluwatosin Habib from Ilorin. I listen to your program Export Digest. I'm into fish smoking in Ilorin, sir. I need your help, sir. How can I start exporting smoked fish? I will be expecting your reply. I'm sure you got our reply. But this is somebody who already has a product that he or she is selling, producing and selling in the domestic market. Like we have said several times, starting local before going global is actually a very good way to build export readiness capacity. So Tosin from Ilorin, you are doing a great job. Keep at it. You are from Ilorin. That also gives us something to cheer about. Export Digest is actually going into every state and home in Nigeria. We're happy to be able to contribute to public awareness and education. Fish, smoked fish export. Now, when you talk about niche exporting, smoked fish is one of those that you need to create a niche market for yourself. Are you in competition with others? Yes. Lots and lots and lots of others, not only in Nigeria, but in other parts of the world. Because some decades back, fish was God-given. You only go to the river to go and fetch fish. Now, fish is also farmed, either behind your house in fish ponds. And there are so many around the country. So for smoked fish, it's one of those items that undergo very, very serious scrutiny, especially in North America, where you need to have a special permit in order to bring in smoked fish. Do countries export or import smoked fish? Yes, lots and lots of it. You only need to go to, without any mischief intended, go to southeast Nigeria and ask how much is consumed in volumes of oporoko. Now, that is something that Norway has specific competitive advantage on over other countries of the world. So Norway is making quite a kill exporting oporoko to a country like Nigeria. Senegal is a closer example that you give, and at some point in the very near past, Nigeria was exporting millions and millions of dollars worth of fish from Senegal. So you are doing the right job. How do you export smoked fish? There are several regulatory agencies. First, like we told you before, to be an exporter, you need first and foremost to be registered by the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. You probably need a NAFDAC certification. A NAFDAC number helps you to get your fish product into the country of your desire. Who are the eaters of your fish? You probably need to, if you followed the episode on how to, I think it was in this quarter, talking about services, how to get, appoint agents and representatives abroad. You probably need to find out. But today, in a globalized market, globalized economy, it is easy for you to also do a lot of research on the internet. Of course, we appreciate that a lot of you write to us directly and want to know from Export Digest, and I believe we've been doing our best. But your easiest way to complement that which we tell you is to look for the trade support institutions in Nigeria that can offer you adequate advice.
The program is Export Digest, and we're treating questions sent in by you, our viewer, in the course of the quarter. We have more to treat, so stay with us.
The next one is from Danjuma Peter. DanjumaZiraPeter@gmail.com. He says, I am Danjuma Peter from Maiduguri. Please, I would like you to throw more light on this subject matter, if possible, from farming to the marketplace. Now that's a great one. That really is a great one. Mr. Peter, farming of what? You need to learn farming practices of whatever it is that you want to export. Now that agriculture is establishing itself as the next oil for Nigeria, now is the time that a lot of money, a lot of energy is being pumped into agriculture. Government is doing a lot in this direction, and I do believe that Export Digest commends government's efforts in terms of agriculture and farming. But then, from farming of what to the marketplace of what, you did not specify. So I'm sorry, we can only give you the generic answer. There is farm gate processing. The emphasis now is not on exporting raw agricultural commodities. The emphasis is on adding value. So what are you farming? Is it just the chili pepper that you are farming? Is it ginger? How can you process it? What kind of machines are you going to get into? Are you going to procure that will help you to actually make yours different from your neighbor? To the market, which market? The Maiduguri market, the Kano market, or the market that is nearest to you in Niger? How do you get there? Without being a smuggler, you need to go to the Nigeria Export Promotion Council and get registered. And before you get there, you probably need to go to the Corporate Affairs Commission to make your business a limited liability company. We've talked about this on several episodes in the past. Please take time to go to www.youtube.com/Export Digest, and you will be able to get yourself better equipped. James Lovett Opiotu, jlovettopiotu@yahoo.com, says, good day, sir, ma. My name is Mrs. Lovett. I am based in Lagos. I watch your program Export Digest on Core TV discussing honey as a good product to export. I buy and sell original honey locally, but looking for other opportunities. Like what quantity can be exported and the procedure involved, and how can you help my home-based business? Thank you so much as I await your response. Mrs. Lovett, thank you very much for getting in touch with us. I'm sure you received our email response to this particular question. But for the interest of other people who have honey within their radar, honey is a consumable. We ingest it, and that makes it a food export. That means that the same procedure of getting a NAFDAC certification for your honey is very important. But for you to export honey, you have to be an exporter, and being an exporter means being registered with the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. But we need to understand also that honey is actually one of those niche products for which you need to create your own presence in the market. Because of course, you understand that honey can be produced from other procedures apart from the one that the bees themselves that they produce. I understand now that you can make honey from sugar cane, that even from cube sugar, you can use your cube sugar to make honey. Some other people use debino, that is a date palm, to produce honey. So it's a good thing that you already made it a point of duty to sell original honey. Now, because you are selling original honey, and I'm talking now from personal experience, Nigerians want to show that the honey is original by allowing even the bees. So you see some dead bees inside it. You see, of course, the comb, so much of it inside your honey. That doesn't do any value to you. Value addition means also being able to sieve this away as much as possible. The last consignment of honey that I got from a friend in Adamawa State, original honey, I mean, it took us hours and hours. And every time that I need to take coffee, I need to get my sieve out because I don't want those extra unwanted pitches and patches inside my coffee. So first and foremost, you need to do processing. And by processing, I'm not talking about machinery and equipment. I'm talking about making sure that your honey comes up in as clean a state as possible. Regulatory agencies are going to be involved. I've mentioned the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, I've mentioned Corporate Affairs Commission. You need also to go to NAFDAC. In fact, it will be good for you to get an independent laboratory to process, not to certify, analyze, that's the word I'm looking for, to analyze your honey and bring out the nutritional contents and every other characteristic of your honey. That helps your labeling and that helps you to stand out. Quantities to export, it is you who determine. You can send a 20-liter jerry can of honey to your sister who is in Alabama or who is somewhere in South Africa and say product of Nigeria, you have exported. But when you talk about products like honey, you need to make up your mind that the minimum order that will be acceptable to you, for example, that will make economic sense, should be something in the region of 120-foot container. Because honey is heavy, you don't want to start spending your money air freighting it. Therefore, that's again an advice that you need to do. So it is up to you to decide what is the minimum content, at what point do you break even. Where are you located? Luckily, you are in Lagos, but what of those who are producing honey in Adamawa? Where is the point of export? How much will it cost to take it from where they are producing to the port? All this add up and build up the export price.
Let us treat one or two more questions as we wrap up on services export for the quarter.
Joy Amadi says jtalk2j@gmail.com says, hello all, I watched your program on Export Digest and piqued interest in the exportation of chili pepper. How does one start? How do you start? You start from the beginning. You start by learning. You start by making yourself export ready, building your export capacity. Building export readiness capacity in Nigeria is supposed to be a massive collective effort. It is not the job of Export Digest alone, even though we remain committed to assisting in this direction, but we also have trade support institutions around. So it's a collective effort. You would understand or note from the questions that people are asking that there are so many out there who are really interested in latching onto the opportunities in the export market. So what do? We need to create export awareness opportunities for Nigerians. I think also I should not forget to thank NTA News 24 and Core TV for their very, very visible support to ensure that Export Digest remains on air. However, our trade support institutions, we need to put our money where our mouth is. Export promotion is a collective effort. It's also capital intensive, and for us in Export Digest, we are feeling it. We are feeling the heat. Continue to stay with us. It's a bunch of resources. It's a resource center. Stay tuned to Export Digest and you become an exporter.
We really had hoped to answer many more questions sent in by numerous service export enthusiasts who have found Export Digest very useful and relevant, but time is not on our side. But guess what? We shall continue to answer your queries on all our communication channels, so feel free to connect with us there. That is our package of Export Digest today, and we believe you have added to your knowledge of services export. We thank you for joining us on Export Digest. Watch this particular episode and others before it on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Export Digest. Do send in your comments, observations, contributions to our different channels of communication. Remember, you can advertise your products and services on Export Digest. Contact us today and let us grow your business with you. Join us next week for another episode of Export Digest. My name is Mayokun Akpoterabo. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.